Floaters are new enemies that came live with the Wastelanders DLC, and you need their sags in order to craft the new floater grenades. I'm about to show you how to farm floaters and how to craft their grenades. Let's do this! Hello everyone! Welcome back to another Fallout 76 guide. Recently, I had a few people asking me about where to find the new floater enemies. To be honest with you, I had no idea there were fixed spawns before I started working on this video. I usually found them through random encounters and that's it. But it turns out there are almost 30 fixed spawns for the floaters in the entire map. As such, I have gathered the biggest cluster featuring 11 locations to help you farm as many floaters as you want. I will also show you how to craft the grenades and discuss if it's really worth the trouble to make them or not. For now, let me show you my exclusive farming map for the floater creatures. Let's proceed. So, you may be wondering, why the hell should you farm floaters? Well, if you want to craft some new floater grenades, then you kinda have to, you know? To learn the floater grenade plans, you need to head to the crater and purchase the plans from Mortimer, the Raiders faction trader. However, your reputation tier needs to be at least friendly with the faction. Otherwise, you won't see the plans for sale. Each plan costs 150 gold bullion and there are 3 of them: the Flamer, the Freezer and the Gnasher. I got the Flamer one since it has the most damage out of the 3. Anyway, if you are having troubles farming reputation and gold bullion, consider checking my other complete guides. As you can see, you need quite a lot of junk items to craft the grenades, including the floater sack, which is by far the most difficult item to get. Note that you can farm other items you need for this while killing floaters, such as oil, fuel and adhesive. Now that you know where and how to access the grenade plans, let me show you where to go in order to farm as many floaters as you want. Alright, besides random encounters, you can find floaters in fixed locations all across the map, but most of the spawns are located at the southeast of the map between 3 regions: the Mire, the Cranberry Bog and the Savage Divide. I came up with 11 fixed spawns for floaters, which can form a proper route to help you save caps. So the choice is yours on how to farm these locations. You can either farm one or a few locations at a time, then server jump, or farm them all in one single server. Keep in mind that most locations will spawn only 3 floaters, 1 of each element: fire, ice and acid. However, there are a few exceptions. In locations with lakes, you can usually find 4 to 6 floaters per run. I guess they really like water or something alike. Jokes aside, most of these floater spawns are replacements to old enemies. For example, at number 2 and 11, you could often find super mutants before the Wastelanders DLC went live, while locations like number 3 and 9 were empty spawns before. Anyway, let's go over each location to make sure you can find the jelly blobs yourself. Make sure not to get hit though, they can easily kill you. At the big mall in the Mire, you can immediately spot the floaters as soon as you fast travel there. Just turn your back to the mall itself and you should see the creatures glowing in front of you. Only 3 floaters spawn here though, but that's a fine start, I think. They are extremely high level in here, from level 45 to 73, as you can see. Let's call it an extra benefit of farming floaters. I didn't mention it before, but floaters are a really great sources of experience as well, especially in the locations I am presenting in this guide. Anyway, let's move to the next spawn. Now, at the Big B's rest stop, you used to find ghouls and super mutants, but not anymore. Now it's home to the mighty floaters, 3 of them to be exact. As soon as you fast travel, you just need to go straight towards the shop and the floaters will be there waiting for you. You will see other glowing spawns in the area, but they are basically visual effects. Watch out when you kill the floaters, you might blow up the truck in the process if you are using ranged weapons. Next we have the General Steakhouse, which is a group of spawns at this point. Make sure to run left from the fast travel area. Now inside the house you can find super mutants. In fact, you can often find a legendary there, so you might want to check it out while coming here. Then, on the very backyard, you can find all sorts of bugs depending on the server you are at. And now, to the left side of the yard itself, you have a new floater spawn. That's right, they always spawn in this area around the garden dome. You can find 3 floaters here if the spawn is not on cooldown. The fourth location in this guide is the Old Mold Quarry in the Cranberry Bog, and it's one of the best spawns in the entire game to find floaters right now. You can always find at least 4 of them, up to 6 per run. Pretty nice, don't you think? But there's a catch. From the spawn point, you can usually find 1 or 2 floaters around the water. However, to find the rest, you will have to go across the lake to check the other border and the nearby canals as well. It's a longer run compared to the previous locations, that's for sure, but you can also get double the profit, so it pays off in the end. Just follow the glowing spots, most of them spawn floaters in this location. Not all, of course, but it's a great hint that a floater is underground or nearby. Still, in the Cranberry Bog, you can head to one of the grooves, the Veiled SUNDREW, to find yet another group of floaters. And now, this location can be quite tricky because the floaters are right in the middle of the groove. As you can see, it's a bit problematic to see things the way it's supposed to be. There are dozens of trees, the groove effect, and lots of tiny canals. I usually have to do a full round inside the groove to find the 3 floaters, but I can assure you they spawn here. It's just not as easy to find them as in most locations. Sometimes they come to you while you are searching, so keep an eye on your back as well, just in case. Lake ELOISE is my favorite location to farm floaters in this entire guide. Why? Because it usually spawns 6 floaters at once and they are not so sparse from each other. There are exceptions, of course. Remember, every run is different, they don't always spawn in the same exact spot. There's an annoying part here though. Some of the floaters roam to the water and when they die there, well, it's quite a challenge to find their bodies after the explosion, especially the freezer floaters. I advise you to loot their bodies as soon as you can when they die on the water especially, or you might not find their bodies later on. Also, make sure to search the surrounding islands if you only find a few floaters at first. They are sometimes roaming around the main island, therefore why you might not see them instantly. I really think floaters love water. In every lake their spawn number is higher. I wonder why. Anyway, next you can go to Spruce Knob channels, which can also spawn another 4 to 6 floaters. I usually find 4 or 5, but every now and then you can also find 6 at once. Anyway, the strategy here is pretty much the same as the previous point at Lake ELOISE. Avoid killing them in the water just so you don't lose their bodies during the fight, and make sure to look around in the different islands. The floaters love to roam around and fly above the water too. Keep following the light, especially during the night. It rhymes. You can see them from miles away when it's night time. During the day, it's not so easy. VATS doesn't work as well. When they are underground, it doesn't work at all, so you gotta find their spawns to lure them out first. Another super easy location to farm these blobs are at the Huntersville entrance. After fast traveling here, turn around and you will see lots of glowing colors to your left side in the forest. You know what to do. Kill the 3 floaters and check the Brotherhood of Steel body around. It usually spawns food, chems, and other stuff you might want to loot. Other than that, the Huntersville is a wonderful location to farm legendaries, so you might want to check the town itself as well. You can find another threesome of floaters near the West Tech Research Center. I am serious. This was the first spawn I found on my own, and it happened to be a fixed one, surprisingly. Well, just head left towards the satellite from the fast travel spawn and you will immediately see the glowing colors. For new players, West Tech is one of the best locations to farm experience and legendaries at the same time, so it's up to you if you want to clear the facility inside out or not. At the Solomon's Pound, you can find another 4 to 6 floaters at once. It's one of the best locations to farm these creatures as well. You need to head towards the houses and check the entire place. The floaters can spawn in front of the left house, behind the main house, and even around the small lake. Don't miss any of them. Remember, you need their precious sacks for the grenades. Not that this place is very rich in junk items, so you might want to scavenge before you head out. Lastly, we have the safe and clean disposal near White Spring, which used to be home to the super mutants in the past. Now you can find 3 floaters just like most of the fixed locations for them. This place is full of radiation, especially around the water, so watch out where you fight. I used to find a legendary here every now and then before the Wastelanders DLC. So far I haven't found any legendary floater in this place, but maybe it can still spawn. Do let me know if you have found any yet. Okay, now that you have plenty of fixed locations to farm, it's time to do some crafting. Head to a Tinker Bench and make sure to equip 3 perks, 2 in Intelligence to be able to craft the floater grenades, the Demolitions Expert and the Science perk. Also, make sure to equip the Super Duper perk under Luck, so you have an increased chance to get more grenades per craft. Now, you can craft as many as you want or can. In this case, I crafted the flamer once because it's what I learned, and as you can see, the total damage is really not impressive, especially if you compare to the pulse or nuka grenades. The flamer grenade has a bit over 300 damage with the rank 5 demo expert active. Anyway, I did several tests, and I must tell you, this thing is really difficult to hit. The explosion radius is very small as well, and it bounces a lot forward. This means it's almost impossible to hit moving targets, unless you can predict their movement with a lot of accuracy. I spent 10 grenades trying to hit floaters, but I didn't manage to do it, as you can see. I decided to move to, well, a more steady target, in this case a mega slot. Anyhow, as you can see, the damage is really low. It's only a level 40 mega slot, and one single grenade took, what, 1/3 of its HP? Hardly. With 2 grenades it went to half HP. Quite a disappointment, I must say. On wolves it seems a little bit higher. 1 grenade was enough to put this glowing wolf at half HP, but then again I did one more test on this hermit crab and the damage was minimal. Now the question is it worth crafting these new grenades at all? In my opinion, hell no. It's fun to play with, they have new colorful animations and that's always nice to experience at least once. But in terms of utility, it's a waste of resources. I mean, first you need extensive training to hit enemies, and then the damage it does is a complete joke. At least the freezer one can be helpful, I guess, but the other two, I doubt it. I need to spam them in order to kill any high-level enemy, in contrast with other explosives like the plasma or the nuka grenades. Plus, it's so difficult to aim. In my opinion, it's really not worth the trouble, since there's way better explosives in game right now. But I really had my fun figuring things out on my own. So, in case you want to farm floaters, I have a few tricks to share with you to help you improve your runs. First, you need a lot of stealth power to go unnoticed near these enemies. Floaters usually detect me when I try to sneak on them, as shown. Their hits really hurt too, especially from the Flamer and the Gnash or Acid one. They can easily one-hit you from off HP, so bloodied builds, be careful with blob attacks. Something else I have noticed is the empty spots in fixed locations. You will often see these glowing colorful spots, several of them. Not all will spawn floaters, so keep that in mind. You can easily tell if there's a floater underground if you see their small antenna. They will quickly come out if you go close anyway. Whenever you kill a floater, I suggest you to loot it, especially underwater. Their bodies move after the explosion, and it can be challenging to find their bodies once the battle is finished. Now, when they die, they explode and can do a decent amount of damage to you if you stay nearby. Well, the Freezer and the Flamer can hardly hurt you, but the Acid one is dangerous even after death. They all leave clouds in the ground after exploding, but again, only the Gnash or Acid one is dangerous to you. Keep in mind that it's possible to come across legendary bosses while farming floaters, including random encounters and the floaters themselves. Lastly, some floaters love to run away from you near lakes. I had to chase them down a few times already. That's an unsolved mystery to me. I really don't think floater grenades are worth the long run. You need a lot of materials and the floater sacks require extra farming as well. The damage is way too low to replace most of the existing explosives. Let's not even mention the small radius it has, but it's a free world, so if you think these grenades fit your build, or if you want to craft some just for fun, go ahead and do it. Now you know how to learn the plans and where to go in order to farm dozens of floaters without server jumping at all. That's going to be everything for this guide. I am Marta Branco, thank you so much for watching and for all your support. And well, go ahead and make some grenades if that's really what you want to do. I am not going to stop you, I swear. Leave a like and comment below if you wish, and don't forget to subscribe to support me. You can help me even further by becoming a member or a patron. The links are always below the video. Well, I will see you all very soon in the next one. Until then, take care, adios, bye bye!